All right, you guys, in this video we are talking about our favorite domain and range. So a quick recap. Our domain is going to be the set of all x values. So anything along my x-axis that exists on my graph is going to be my domain. We read it left to right, just like a text message. Range is going to be my set of all y values. I read it bottom to top, just like my favorite song started from the bottom. Now we're here. Now, the thing with domain and range is we don't really care about our intercepts, where our graph will cross our x-axis. What we care about most is our end behavior, what is happening on the end of my graph. And we're going to take some time today to do some examples and hopefully clarify any questions we have. All right, you guys, so example number 1, let's think about my domain and range. All right, here we go. So my domain, I said, I want to think about it from left to right. So I'm going to draw a little person. As I'm thinking about this person moving to the left, I see that this right here will be the last point that they could possibly go. And that is at -3 on my x-axis. So -3 will be my left bound. As I think about him walking to the right, I see that he's going to go on forever. So infinity will be my right bound. I have x in the middle since that's my domain. Infinity cannot be an included value, so I'll have less than, but he can reach -3. So we'll have less than or equal to. Another way I can write this is going to be bracket -3 to positive infinity. Range, we said bottom to top. So as I think about the lowest point my man's ever going to walk to, it's going to be this right here. But my range is my set of y values. So here I'm looking for this +2. I know that's the lowest he's going to go. So that will be my left bound. As I think about where he's going to stop going up, I know that this arrow is increasing, even if it's just for a little bit, at a slight slope. So he will eventually hit every value in positive infinity. I have y in the middle here since I'm dealing with my range. I cannot include infinity, but he is going to reach this point. So it'll be 2 is less than or equal to y is less than infinity. Another way I could write this is bracket 2 comma infinity. All right, another example is going to be one where I have an asymptote. All right, so in this case, when I see this shape, I automatically think about my exponential function. I see the shape as exponential, so that's something that I want to keep in mind for myself, because I know that that is going to have an asymptote. Exponential function. All right, so I'm going to draw my person. I know domain is left to right, so I care about what he's doing on the end, right? I know that I had this x-intercept, but my man is going to keep on walking all the way to the left forever. So I will call that negative infinity. When I think about if my man is ever going to stop walking to the right, I know that he's not. So I have positive infinity. So I'm dealing with my domain. I have x in the middle, and I cannot include either of those values. Another way I could write this would be negative infinity to infinity, or all real numbers. With a range, we said we read this bottom to top. So I'm thinking about the lowest value that my person's ever going to walk towards. I know that I have to have some sort of asymptote here. And that asymptote's going to be at -4. So I know even though this line looks like it's getting really close to -4, it's never going to touch. So -4 will be my lower bound. As I think about him going up, what his up in behavior is, that is going to be positive infinity. It's never going to stop. I can't touch infinity, but I also can't touch this 4 since we cannot include an asymptote. So I will use unincluded notation here. Another way I can write this would be parentheses -4, comma, infinity. And that is going to be my domain and range of this function. Finally, we're going to see something that has a few more asymptotes. So I noticed a few things. Anytime I see this right here, where I have this piece and it's never going to touch this branch, I know in my mind that I have an asymptote. So I'm going to assume I have an asymptote here, and I have an asymptote here because I see that behavior again. So when I'm thinking about my domain, I see my person is going from left to right. When he's going to the left, he's never going to stop. So he starts at infinity. But all of a sudden, when he approaches this line at -2, he cannot cross it. He cannot cross the asymptote. So he has to stop. So he's going to start again, right? This is when we hopped our fence, if you will. This person is going to exist from -2, right? Because he can go all the way down here. But he also has to stop again over here at 4 because he has another asymptote. Oh, excuse me, that should say negative. So -2 to 4. All right, now he has to start again. So we'll have 4. As he's moving to the right, we see we're going to move towards infinity. That will be my domain of this function. Range, we said, is bottom to top. So if I'm looking at the bottom, I see that we're going to go towards -infinity. But I also see I have this notation here as well, and I can assume that I have an asymptote on the x-axis. So that means I'm going to go from -infinity to 0, because that's the highest my man's ever going to reach, and from 0 all the way up, because I see my arrows as well. That will be my range. Y'all, this is going to be like numbers 5, 9, and 13 on your tests. If you have any questions, please stop and call me or Miss G over.